Welcome back to LearnPianoLive.com. My name is Jamin, and as you can tell from the countdown clock, the lesson is about to get started. In case you're new with us, there's a few things I'd like to show you to help you throughout the lesson. These lessons are always guided and shaped by your questions, and if you're live with us today, there's a couple different ways you can do that. One is in the public live chat, and the other is the Ask Jamin a Question button, where you can ask me a question privately, and I won't share your identity in case you're afraid that your question is stupid. But it's not. If you're in the archives, though, then just open up the survey. At the end of that, there's a place where you can ask your question. I will say I frequently get questions from students in the archives watching a lesson from 6 months ago, and I have no idea what they're talking about. So please try to be as specific as possible. If you're watching this at LearnPianoLive.com, there should be a PDF and an MP3 button right next to this video. The PDF will often have additional video links inside so you can get more in-depth instruction on each of the topics. And if you're the kind of person who likes to print out the PDF so you can make the same notes on your physical version as I'm making during the lesson, now would be the time to do that. The MP3 is just a play-along track so you can practice more after the lesson. In traditional lessons, a teacher is going to actually present some new concept for maybe 5 or 10 minutes every couple weeks. The rest of the time is going to be spent applying and refining those concepts. Well, here I'm spouting off hours of new information every week, so it's totally unreasonable to expect you to actually absorb all of that. Instead, the goal of these live lessons is for you to find some little nugget of something that makes sense, but is a bit of a challenge, and for you to go practice it, because practice is where all the improvement's going to happen. So don't feel bad if you have to leave the live lesson when you find that little thing that you're going to practice. And of course, if I'm going too fast, you can always rewind the live lessons or replay in the archives as much as you want. If these live lessons start feeling random or meandering, it's because they are, on purpose. So if you're the kind of person who wants classical training with a step-by-step method, then you're going to want to check out Kloppel Academy on the website. It's included in your live lesson subscription, so you can do both or either. And the upper levels are seriously hard work, but it's going to take you all the way from ground zero, all the way up to being ready to enter any major music college as a piano major in classical or jazz. And finally, it's most people's favorite. This is application, where we take the past concepts from other live lessons and we see how they apply to an actual, real song that already exists. And since there's like 1,000 different ways to play any song, you're just going to work on the version that is appropriate for your level. So that might just mean playing one note at a time for right now. Or maybe you're working on chords or covering the full song. Or maybe you're just seeing how the song breaks down so you can better write and transcribe your own songs in the future. But whatever your level is, the goal is not this song. So even if you don't play the whole entire song, you'll get better by even attempting a little bit of it, and attempt it we shall. Cool. Let's do How High the Moon in just a second. But first, let me introduce the incomparable Kendra, moderating the chat room.
Guess what, Jamin? I have been getting into anime recently, which I never thought would happen. But I'm really liking it, and I've been binging Attack on Titan lately.
That's awesome.
Really, really good. And I'm on season 3, and I'm kind of obsessed. So.
Okay, cool. Attack on Titan. Any others?
Demon Slayer.
Demon Slayer.
Watched a bit of Black Butler.
Okay.
But not a whole lot. And I think that's about... Oh, I don't know if Avatar The Last Airbender counts or not.
I have no idea.
But it's great.
All right.
Either way, so
Very cool. Yeah, I think I've done the theme song to all of those, and I still have not watched a single minute of anime, I don't think. But the music is cool. There's one, Cowboy Bebop. The soundtrack to it is just absolutely amazing.
That's so cool.
It's wonderful. You got to go at least check out the soundtrack.
Oh, yeah,
it's really
for
cool.
sure.
All right. Well, we need to check out this song. It looks kind of long, but maybe if you know the song already, you know it is really repeaty. Like if you could sing along with it, if you've already heard it before. But in case you didn't pick up on that, there's a lot of stuff that kind of repeats, and then there's a lot of quarter notes and half notes and stuff. So it's not too terribly fast, even though the drums make it feel very, very busy. So let's jump into this thing. First thing we're going to need is a D. In order to find a D, you're just going to take any group of 2 black notes, like those ones there right there, or those ones, or those ones. Just don't pick a group of 3 and you should be fine. The white note in between those 2 black notes should be a D. And from there, you know all of the letters on the entire piano, because it's just a musical alphabet that goes A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then starts back over again. So if that one's a D, this would be an E and an F, and a G, and the G is actually the next note that we need, and it's the last note of the musical alphabet, which is why the next note over is an A, and the next one over is a B. Those are the first notes of our song. We're gonna play Somewhere There's Music. So we got 2 A's in a row for there's and mu, and I would highly recommend that you say the words as you go. Somewhere there's music. Cool. If we tried that along with the track, you do need to notice that you come in before like the full band comes in. So the counting is usually 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, play. But this time 1 is right here and 2 is right here, and that is where you play. So it's gonna go 1, 2, 1, right on 2. So somewhere there's music. Get used to those notes right there. Get prepared. You're going to try those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 notes with me with the track. Probably the counting at the beginning is going to be the hardest part. Let's try it right now. 1, 2, 1, 2, there's music. That is not the track at all. That would be the track from last week. So I guess we're using the other track then. Let's try that one more time. 1, 2, 1. Somewhere there's music. That's more like our song. Cool. That was my fault. It's not Kendra's. Let's go one more time. 1, 2, 1. Somewhere there's music. Yeah, cool. Now we're going to use those same exact notes, except this time we're going to take this note down a half step, and we're going to play a B flat instead of a B. But pretty much the rest of the notes are going to be the exact same. We don't have to repeat anything this time either. We can just go straight through. How faint the tune. Just straight through. So all of those together, somewhere there's music. How faint the tune. We're going to do the exact same thing, just push everything down 1 note. So we use those ones. Now we're going to use those ones. And where before we took the top note and we made it a flat, we're going to take the top note of these and make it a flat as well. So that would be somewhere there's heaven, how high the moon. And then it gets messy after that, quite honestly. But there's only a small messy section, and then we're back into just repeating that part that we just did. So let's try that much with the track. Those ones, those ones, those ones, those ones, and saying the words out loud as we go. Let's try this thing. 1, 2, 1. Somewhere there's music. How faint the tune. Somewhere there's heaven. Yeah, all right, cool. Then the rhythmic feel of that is going to kind of continue on, even though the notes are going to change. This next section is not going to have any jumps. It's just those notes all in a row. D, E flat, F, and G. There is no moon above when love. All G's right here. Moon above when love is far. And pay attention to these guys right here. Whenever we have that swoopy line right there, that's called a tie because it's tying two notes together. So these two notes are actually just one A, which is why there's only one word for it. Far, far away. So just one single A there, even though it looks like there's two. Moon above when love is far away. And then back to that B flat 2. Now, in my mind, this is where the song, where we kind of like mess up in the song. So we were aiming for this B, but we did a B flat instead. And we want to go back and be like, nope, sorry, I messed that up. I meant... And that's the next notes in the song. So the first one goes to the B flat, the second one goes to the B natural. So moon above when love is far away to, oops, till it comes true. There we go. And then we're gonna go just walk it up from an A to a B to a C to a D and stay there until it's time to repeat all of it. That you love me as I love you. The second half of the song is very, 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 very similar to the first half of the song. Let's try the first half of the song, though, all together. I do not expect you to have this thing down, especially if you're watching live and you're not in the archives. You haven't had the privilege of pressing the pause button and practicing these things and trying it with the track on your own. If you're live with us, you're going to miss a bunch of the notes, but at least get the first ones here and try to say the words as you go. If you only get a note or two, that's fine. Play all the notes that you can. Don't worry about the rest. Let's go. 1, 2, a 1. Somewhere there's music. How faint the tune. Somewhere there's heaven. How high the moon. There is no moon above when love is far away too. Oops, let's try that again. Till it comes true. There's that B. That you love me as I love you. Somewhere there's music. And hopefully that sounds familiar from before because that's the same exact thing. So starting right here, that you love me as I love you, after we play all those D's in a row, then we're gonna jump down to this D and start the whole thing over again. And this time we're not gonna mess up. We're gonna go straight to that B. Bam. And that's where things are changed a little bit. So right here, we do not have the B flat. We go straight to the B. So we're skipping that whole like mess up section where we hit the B flat. Second time around, we get straight to the B, and then we do that thing that we did before, A, B, C, D, 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 and then we pretend like we're gonna start the whole thing over again for a third time through. But before we get to this B, we come back and we play that G. How high the moon. So those are the last ones. Instead of, we're gonna go, that's the end of the song. So it's very, 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 very similar to the first half, except we don't have that B flat in our way. And we're gonna pretend like we're gonna go back around a third time, but it's a lie. It's just one time through, or just 2 times through, and the third time ends right there. Hopefully that made some sense, and we'll try this all together. Get all the notes that you can. Don't worry about the ones that you miss. Let's go. 1, 2, a 1. Somewhere there's music. How faint the tune. Somewhere there's heaven. How high the moon. There is no moon above when love is far away too. Till it comes true that you love me as I love you. Repeat. Somewhere there's music. It's where you are. Somewhere there's heaven. How near, how far. The darkest night would shine if you would come to me soon. Until you will house still my heart. How high the moon. So there you go. That is all of the notes. We will get into all the chords and all that stuff. But since that's all for the beginner's level, that means it's time for the feature of the day.
Hey Jamin, that's right. And today's progression of the day is descending half steps from 2 or 3.
That is correct. Thank you for that, Kendra. Yes. So then, this thing right here, if we're in the key of C, let's go to the key of C because piano players love the key of C. It's all white notes. And in case the key of C, if that sentence doesn't make any sense, we're going to get lost really soon here. But for those of you who are like, yeah, okay, cool. Key of C, then what? If you're wanting to Let's see here. If you want to try changing the endings of songs, something you can do is descend by half steps from the 2 until you land on the 1, because usually a song is going to end on the 1 of the key. In the key of C, C would be the 1 of the key. So then you could try this thing to this thing to this thing, which is not a really commonly thought of like, oh yeah, let's try that one, because that's like one of the worst notes you could possibly play in the key of C is that note right there. So the one that's just above the root of the key, so the sharp 1 in the key, is the one you're going to use right before the 1. So we're going to use the 2 to the flat 2 or the sharp 1 to the 1. So that would be something like... kind of creates some tension in there. And that one is like one of the worst ones you could possibly use because my melody was a D. But even on that one, it kind of almost works. So try that, descending from the 2. If you're like in Clapple Academy level 2 or 3, then you'll be able to like follow some of these other moves here using that. Or that's just from the 2. That's the 2 of the key. But if we go up to the 3 of the key, 1, 2, 3, then we could try something like the same thing, but an even longer version of it. Would be a pretty cool ending too. So descending from the 3 as your ending, or descending from the 2 as your ending. But if this term progression of the day didn't make any sense, then that's not helpful to you at all. But for those of you who are in Clapple Academies, level 2, 3, 4, and 5 is where you're starting to like do some like reharmonization and stuff. You want to come up with your own endings. Descend from the 2 or from the 3, but that's it for the beginner's level of this lesson. So let's go on to the intermediate level. So sadly, the lesson preview has come to an end, and it's time to say goodbye to everyone watching the free streams. Of course, paying subscribers at learnpianolive.com can continue watching this lesson and several hundred others like it in the archives. So come on over and check us out. And if you like what you saw, at least like and subscribe, and then tell your friends to head on over to learnpianolive.com to start enjoying this journey with us.